Oh, I missed you. I'm sorry. Good afternoon to the afternoon coffee hour. How are you people this afternoon? Glad to see you. All welcome. Hello. Are you gonna speak with moi? How you doing today? Oh, I'm just kind of being bored.
Hello, hello, hello. Who are my little stalkers? Come out, wherever you are. Come on, come on, come on. Don't make us be bored and just communicate with ourselves. It's so sad sometimes. Please, please come say hi. Fine. I'll just have to torture Larry. Probably get more subscribers that way.
Yeah.
All right, we're breaking out the whips. Come on, people.
I could only wish.
Ha! Well, I tried to get more people.
How we lost one group.
No, we have none. Oh, no, I'm still there. That's me.
But that's nobody right now.
But I'm on there. That's funny. But I'm on there. Talk about lag. Whoa. Talk about lag. Whoa. I'm confused.
Right.
How is it? How are we able to hear me on here if I'm not up on the panel?
Because you're going through this microphone.
No, I swear I heard it on my phone.
You did? Sounds good, Linda.
Better get your butt up here before I had to crack that whip.
I'm going to be on the side just for a second. There we go. How you doing tonight, Linda?
Hey, Linda, what you cooking up tonight? We're having homemade tacos again. We had them last night. They're so good. We're having more.
I'm doing chicken. I got some split chicken breasts.
I
So
just hold on. I just realized it's just after 5. It's okay.
yeah.
All right. I was trying to call and schedule a new appointment to get my teeth pulled out since Larry woke me up late this morning, and they referred me out to an orthodontist specialist. I hope they knock my ass out.
No shit.
I've never had gas before. I've never been put out. Nothing. I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled out wide awake, and with just not even the Novocaine. I just had regular or lidocaine or whatever. I just had just the regular numbing shit, and they were all impacted. They were sideways and pushing on my molars, and they had to break crack my lower jaw on both sides to get the teeth out all the way. And they had to do it on 2 separate occasions because they would only do one side, which will, they did the upper and the lower, and then I came back like 2 weeks later and I had the other ones done. But my insurance in California was California Insurance. It's called Medi-Cal, and they did not pay to be put out. It was $300 for them to knock me out. And they refused to pay it. And I was this doctor's. He was an old guy, been practicing for 30 years plus. I was his first state income patient, with Medi-Cal. And I was his first patient he had ever done a week for their wisdoms. And they wouldn't even pay for gas to at least get me high enough to where I didn't give a fuck. And anyway, they did the top, got it out. They cracked this jaw apart to get that tooth out because it was pushing on that molar too much. And then 2 weeks later, I came back and he did my upper and he had to crack my jaw again. And it was way worse. It just crumbled into pieces. It kind of blew up. I saw pieces flying. And when he was done with me, I heard somebody in the storage closet right next to the nurse desk or whatever, that was inside from where the patients, would, from the waiting area. And I swore I heard that man crying. And I told...
I made mine cry. Not on purpose. He did. It was because of the mistake he made in my mouth. He slipped. Yeah, I made my dentist cry.
So he was like, no, it was after the first time he had done this side. And and I asked the nurse, I said, is everything okay? I said, where'd the doctor go? I wanted to thank him. And she said, he's getting supplies out of the closet. And I said, there's a man in that closet whimpering. And she says, yes, you were his first case in 30-something years that he never, he wasn't, their patient was not sedated or out. And mine was an extremely complicated case. And she said, when he walked out of my room, I know I heard him. He says, I'm not doing that again. My patients will be knocked out or I won't take them.
That's
And
good.
after he had done my other side, my right side, when he walked out of that room, he looked at the nurses and he said, I will take the patients that are on our current appointment list, but he says after that, I will not be taking any more Medi-Cal patients
Mm,
because he couldn't put them to sleep and he wasn't going to fit the bill.
can't
Yeah.
blame him on that.
So if it had been up to him, I would have been his first and last, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, my dad said he could hear me screaming because he took me both times. And second time, I restrained myself as best as I could verbally. But my dad said he was at the furthest end at the waiting room, and he could hear me crying, and he could hear me begging for more medicine. And I was, what, 27, 28, something like that. Yep. Uh-huh. So, and I didn't blame him. Not one bit. Not one bit. Because they had to strap my head down into place. They strapped me across here. They wound up strapping me here. They strapped my arms down. And they had a nurse going like this. From trying to keep my, I could hear everything happening in my ear. The crunching, the doctor saying this isn't working, da 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 da, and him telling me, please stop crying. He says, I'm doing everything I can. And he said, I've given you more than the legal limit of anesthetic. And I said, I understand that, but medications don't work as well with me. I'm kind of a redhead. And this was before that wives' tale kind of came out about redheads needing, more anesthesia or numbing medicine stuff. And I said, I understand that, but, I said, it hurts. And he goes, I've already given you more than the legal limit. He says, honey, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So
they give you 2 locals here.
he gave me as much as he could. Those tubes with the needles, those syringes were full. And he just was filling me up with everything he could.
Mercy.
And Medi-Cal didn't cover the Novocaine. They
Do you
didn't
have a
cover.
high threshold for pain? Is that what happened?
Part of it is my DNA. I'm A negative to boot, so I'm RH negative, and I'm a redhead, and I come from a long line of redheads. And at that point, I think I kind of screwed myself over because, well, I'm pretty sure I did. Back in the day, when I was younger, I experimented with things. And so they say that kind of whacks you out when it comes to other things. But now I take Percocet, and so, that I do have a high pain tolerance. I can tolerate a lot of pain. So if I start to say, holy shit, this hurts, I'm already at my threshold. So it's just how I am. Like when I went to the hospital the other day. Oh, there she is again.
Yeah, it keeps blinking out in and out on your side.
Oh, we're roboting too?
You put us on this stuff. She's
Oops.
backstage.
Hold on, Linda. Oh, well, it says two. Where you at?
He's backstage.
Oh,
The rabbit hutch.
I added you, and then it didn't do anything. That's just really weird.
Yeah, it sent a thing to me saying you were subscribed, and that was the first time I've ever gotten a notice of a subscriber. So I found
When
that
you
was cool.
subscribe, if you don't put on there, if you don't click on the bell to say all notifications.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I
I
don't get
find
one. I don't get them either.
they don't give me the notification, or they give it to me like quite a time later.
Yep. Yep. Let me look on mine and see if I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
I did. Oh, he said that I did. You got a bell at the top of the YouTube screen too. Yep, there's that.
Yeah, because I
added
gave you a
video.
heart. I sent you a heart back.
Oh, your comment got a heart from Linda. Oh my God, that was so awesome, and I love your builds that you
Thank
guys,
you.
the cages and stuff.
I
What were they
appreciate that.
eating?
Which video? Because we fed him spaghetti, we fed him watermelon. I don't know which video it was.
It looked like spaghetti, I think.
That was our very first one. Yes, it was spaghetti.
I thought it might have been
Girls Gone Wild.
cheese or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Girls Gone Wild was spaghetti.
And I added a video to Larry's, just a video.
Uh-huh.
That was I don't know where it went.
Hey, Joy, you want to do the side dishes? I pulled out stuffing, green beans, and peas. You can pick which veggie you want. Okay, thanks.
I don't know where it went, but it was for YouTube, I think.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, it went on to Facebook. It's on Larry's.
Okay, I don't have a way of getting in my Facebook.
Huh?
My Facebook's is open, but I don't have a way of getting into it.
Oh, well, let's see if I can send it to you personally. I'm getting into your phone. Ha ha ha. Whoa, Bruce is on here, baby. Watch out. All right. Let's see if I can share. I don't know how I could do that. I'll have to have Larry's cooking, so I'm going to have Larry help me figure it out. But basically, it was on a guy who is interviewing sheriffs. First one was in Yuma. The other one was in somewhere else. But it was called the Most Unruly City or something like that. Anyway, the first one I shared. And it's a little bit of a long video. He did cut, like, I think he said an hour and a half or something like that out of it because he didn't think YouTube was going to allow the content. So he told people to, if they want to see the whole thing, to go to Patreon. But anyways, I didn't know this, but sheriffs have the legal right to be able to say what they know and what they think about situations like the shit that's going on at the border, with the illegals and yada yada. And he couldn't give like personal names and da da da, but he was able to say where most of the people are coming from, where they're crossing, where the biggest problems are, how they're starting to, like how they'll do like an electric tool and cut through some of the bars, or or whatever.
Can this be new?
So are you talking to marshals or are you talking about border patrol? Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about sheriffs.
Okay, sheriff, not even marshal. Sheriff.
Sheriff.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
marshal, not border patrol, not police. Sheriff. So this guy was on a ride along with this sheriff that had been he was first doing light duty stuff like that when he was in the Corps, and then he went to sheriff, and he's been doing all of that for like 38, 39 years, so he knows some shit. And let me tell you, towards the end, it actually was very enlightening and very refreshing, because that man is allowed to say what he wants, what he thinks. You know what I mean? And at the same time, he pushes that what I think is pushed aside to be humanitarian, to be ethical and fair and stuff. He says he's got to put those thoughts aside, and they weren't bad thoughts. They really weren't. They were just, like pretty much what everybody's thinking, come here legally and we'll say hi. But if you're not, and you're in an extradition country, guess what? Your ass is gone. You know what I'm saying? But, so this man was very respectful. He was very honest, and he was very enlightening. And I really liked it, so I shared it on his Facebook. What? Oh boy. Bottom shelf to the right.
Today or last night? Because most bunnies have their babies at night. Sorry, I turned my mic on. We were talking about the rabbit did have her babies.
No, keep talking. I want to hear.
Okay, so what was you saying?
Hi, Nubs.
Ladies?
We're selling the cracks. You can tell them they were born on the blah blah blah, and they're 6 weeks old. Okay. And they're Hi, Nubs.
Hello?
My doe had her babies. I don't know how many she had, but she definitely had some babies. The fur is wiggling.
What?
My rabbit had babies. Aren't they called doe rabbits?
Yes.
Yes, I don't know if she was already pre-pregnant or if my boy actually did the business, so we won't know till they get older. But yeah, we saw some fur in there, and it wasn't there yesterday. And then I'm staring at the fur, and it's wiggling, it's moving.
What kind of rabbits do you have?
I have a lion head mixed with the loppy ears. Ears that go down.
I have 3 miniature Rex, and then I forgot what my buck is.
I think that lion
He's a
head
meat
might
rabbit, though.
a Rex mixed with the lion head, because he's bigger than my last lion head. My last lion head was dwarfy, he was short stature.
Lion heads can get big, though.
They can get big? Okay, this guy
They
just, I
can.
don't know, just a runt, or maybe, I don't know.
My
Not the one I have now, the one I used to have. Yeah.
my
Sorry, I was
3
telling you.
does that are the Rex are miniature Rex, so they look like regular Rex, but they're like half the size.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was stoked. We even had to Google it on stream to find out like what I was, looking at, because we got some moisture coming in, we got rain coming in, and I pulled her off the ground because her crate was on the ground. I set it on top of the other crate because all that stuff's is sealed. They're not going to fall out or anything. Keep her off the ground moisture, and then I'm just going to throw a tarp over them. She's not distressed or anything. She's kicking back. You go near her, she gets in there and protects them, and then she comes back out when you walk away.
Should be glad we're not.
Yeah, just make sure she's not too good of a mom.
Yeah, I don't. Does that mean that she'll let me pet her if she's being too good of a mom? No, I'm
No, it
asking
means she'll
Nubs.
kill the babies.
Oh yeah, see, she's a young in herself, so
Yeah, watch, make sure you always have movement type deal. Because they will
okay,
kill their babies, not even being bad, just not great moms.
right. And I don't know where, I don't know her background or anything. We got her off of Craigslist. So.
I bought
I
my
don't-
3 Rex from a kid that was doing a 4-H project, and that was the last part of his project is to sell them.
Nice.
So I got 2, or I bought 2, and I got 1 for free, technically. But I gave him the same amount for all 3 of them.
Nice.
Like I wasn't trying to rip the kid off. The parents were just like, we don't want these things anymore. And then she kept on texting me for like a month and a half. And then like every once in a while, like out of the blue, she'd be like, you still got the rabbits? And yeah, still got them.
They got 'em. So how many days would you say before I like peek in or anything? Just curious of your opinion.
Oh, I definitely make sure I check on them on a normal basis. That way she gets used to you and you get used to them.
Yeah, because I laid my hand
You know what I
over.
mean?
Yeah, I didn't make actual contact, but I laid my hand over because I wanted to know if there was, anything cold in there. I laid my hand over and everything was warm and everything was wiggling. And I think I got a count of 5 without looking.
Just remember with rabbits, they're prey animals, so when you touch them, they don't really like to be touched on body, more so heads and things.
Okay, yeah, he was borging out, but it'll straighten out here in a minute. You said with rabbits, I don't want to be touching her very much or touching them babies very much. I'm confused.
Definitely don't touch the babies.
Right, I have
But
that.
with rabbits, they don't like to be touched all that much unless it's on their head, and if that's like
Did.
where yeah, that I mean, if you pet their head, that's one thing, but if you're petting their body, they tend to get, you know, antsy about it.
Yeah, she just laid there. She left because there's that little area down below where she could lay. And she has a spot to get above and get away from them, keep an eye on them. And she was just chilling right there. And I petted her head, and she didn't seem stressed or anything. I was like, "Damn, you're taking this a lot better than I thought you would."
Make sure you're
But
definitely washing your hands after you're petting your other animals, especially predator animals. It'll fuck with them. At
yeah, I
least while she's
definitely don't want
pregnant.
dogs. Yeah.
I think once her eyes open, then if she's okay, we have.
Like I said, she's.
I have to Google it now.
I'm just keeping observating, observating and observing.
Maybe once we get some land, I'm gonna be getting.
Is it me or did you freeze? Audio. There you are. You're back.
Hang on 1 second. Hey, go get one. Go out in the freaking Arctic tundra.
Yeah, but the temperature hasn't really dropped or anything. Axa. Axa. Knock it off. Nothing with her. Come here.
So, and I'm changing, or I'm going to give it a whirl and see if changing diet makes me feel any better. I haven't been feeling up to, like, I weigh 150 pounds soaking wet.
Oh. Not good.
Oh, today is the first day in give chicken a whirl. And my son doesn't know that I'm gonna eat some chicken. So should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know why my dog is pointing at she has separated a chicken and she won't leave it alone. Hey, it's not like her. They're around these chickens all the time. Saxa, how are you having your chicken? If you don't mind me asking.
What was that?
Oh, I said, how are you preparing your chicken?
Oh, I'm not preparing it. I'm actually I'm gonna splurge and I'm gonna have a roasted chicken. It's been a long time. Roasted chicken was like one of my favorite ways to have chicken. So that's what I'm gonna go with. But from now on, basically what I'm gonna do is once we get land, I'm gonna raise it all. And assuming I decide to go with it and it doesn't make me sick.
Of course, just a little bit, Don't overindulge.
No, I'm gonna give it a whirl.
Awesome. Especially if you
'Cause
think your body's for it.
Well, I can't keep weight. And, if I'm picking up stone that outweighs me by triple, like I need to be at least a little bit heavier than I am.
Yeah, you need a little leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, give me a sec. Hi, order for Tim. Didn't mean to sneak up behind you.
They didn't jump, did it?
Check on that.
Yeah, like you said, you move away and come back, it's like, pretty happy. Right now, I'm gonna be out of here like warm. Winter sucks right now.
I like winter.
Yeah, but this is like a little bit too much.
But
Driving it. Wait for Thursday.
driving goes well.
Like 5-ish minutes left on
Okay,
that.
perfect. Thank you.
I'll grab the change.
Wait, right now, I'm 15 grand for a year. If you wait a year, it'll be like the long price.
No, I can't buy it.
Right in the middle. Just here.
Look at power station.
So what's everybody up to tonight?
We're cooking food. We're cooking our dinner.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, that was like. I like that roof. The ceiling was
It
covered
was
in the seats or something.
no, it's covered in business cards.
Oh, even better yet.
Yeah, they're all sorts of different local businesses, and anybody that comes in, you can put your business card up and pay with cash and save.
Saxon, they're just doing chicken stuff. Quit tripping.
So is everybody excited for all the bank closures?
Oh yeah, I'm so tickled. Nah.
I have a friend who used to bank with them. Nubs are frozen. But okay, no, you're not. I have a friend who I know was with that, not the Silicon Valley, the what? The Signature Bank online. And I don't know, because that was a couple years ago when I knew about it. So I'm hoping that the poor guy, my friend Jeff with the Wolf Daddy, I'm really hoping that he had switched banks by now. I'm really, really hoping. But
Well, it sounds like old Joe is gonna make sure everybody's good.
yeah, okay.
If
Well,
you
that's
believe
awesome.
them, well, wait. Comply, do what we're supposed to, just agree,
Right.
get along.
Oh
Yeah, that's it.
we gotta play by the rules, right?
Yes, and the rules are the ones that they tell us periodically.
Remind us. And change as they go, make up as they go. Oh, so I'm just being real about it. But yeah, he's assured us definitely that everything will be all right. You know that song? Don't worry.
Yes, just follow the planning. That's the thing. You just got to follow the planning and everything will be all right.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah, that ends at the red brick wall. Okay, honey, I'm staging all the food now. Bring it right now.
So what's everybody having?
Homemade tacos.
Homemade tacos, huh?
Yep, all from scratch.
Oh,
Fun.
says that word like he doesn't have an account.
So my son made some bread the other day. I was pretty impressed. He did it on his own. It wasn't the best, but he did it on his own.
Yeah, that's the part that.
I ate some. It was decent enough for that. So well, anyways, I'm gonna grab my food here. Once I'm done eating, I'll jump back up for a little while.
Okay, thank you. See you
All right, peace out.
later.
Oh,
Peace out.
unindulged. curry, mashed potatoes, broccoli, steamed carrots, and shrimp. Damn you, Danny. What's curry?
Whoa, what are you making?
No, that's Danny.
Oh, Danny.
Yeah, read the chat.
Danny.
Curry is a spice that's used like back east to make their food a little hotter, a lot hotter. But
Curry mashed.
for you out.
I can't handle curry.
Yeah,
Danny.
you mean what's curry? And I'm like, something that we don't use is what I should have told her.
It's a seasoning that can be quite spicy.
Yeah, you have to. It is definitely a required. We're used
It is
to
acquired taste as well.
Probably use it very
Yeah.
lightly.
build up a, how do you say it? Hablano
Very lightly put some in
pepper,
there.
the big habanero. God, why can I never fucking say that correctly? Anyway, a bunch of people just got a good giggle. Anyway, I put it in the. I filled up onions and a little bit of broccoli and cooked it all in butter together, and that stuff came out good with some steak and a tortilla. Basically, quesadillas.
Okay.
So last
Yeah, I
night,
make those often too. When my teeth are giving me a hard time and stuff, or my belly's kind of
I
questionable, I eat cheese and sometimes chicken quesadillas.
Danny says her family loves spices, and she just fills orders.
That's kind of how it just goes, you know.
And I've cooked two meals because one couldn't handle a certain thing, and another,
Right.
whatever. I've done 2 dinners. I don't do that no more, but we've done that. That's what she means. She cooked. I just fill the orders. I don't know what the hell she means. I just fill the orders. I give you what you want.
My daughter got into this whole I don't like spaghetti sauce shit.
Oh,
So I had to start making the spaghetti separate from the sauce. And then, of
uh,
course, she started saying, I don't want meat. So then I'm like, fine, I'll give you Alfredo. But then I decided, you know what? All I got on hand is butter and Parmesan. She says, will
hey,
do, Mom.
that because I eat it like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Butter and Parmesan, can't go wrong.
there you go. But I didn't like that the fact that she wasn't getting more protein.
Yeah, I worry about that with my granddaughter. She picks at her food, takes a long time, and I understand.
Another
I understand it, but at the same time, I explain to her that she's got to put something. She can't be that picky.
my mother, one of the very few things she said that I moved on to my children, passed on to my children, is you need to have more color on your plate. Hi,
Mhm.
Moose, because color means more vitamins, minerals, proteins, or whatever. So that was the thing is you have to put more color on your plate. You can't just have mashed potatoes and pasta and da da da. You need to, kind of flip it up.
Because aren't they both carbs? Well, one's a starch and the other one's carbs. I hear you. Have a little bit of everybody on your plate.
Yeah, go get. The light's coming in the window and I can't see.
Is everybody in their damn beats? What is this? We saw them in the store the other day, or yesterday, and Joy said, "Oh, I love beets," and I looked at her and I said, "I'm definitely allergic to them." And she was, "We are." Yep. So is my brother.
Yeah.
I get 10 foot in front of a beet.
I used to eat so many beets and radishes when I was young. I know it's graphic, but I pooped once and I started crying and screaming, I'm dying because my poop was red.
I've come to expect this from you. You're okay.
Love it. Awesome. Spices of life season late locally. Hey, I have a question, Danny. What is the name or a brand and type of a very, very spicy seasoning or whatever that has good taste. Because it's hard to find something that's so hot that you can't enjoy the flavor. You have 2 small leaks in your heart, Danny? Holy hell. I'm so sorry.
What's going on?
Danny said, curry, huh? I don't know if he likes curry. What else?
The
Okay. What else, Danny? Help me out. Linda, maybe you know too. Because my son sent me to the store to pick up more. Yeah, he uses chili seasoning. What was that stuff? It's Asian. Yeah. Mole? Mole? Is it mole?
Chinese hot mustard is hot.
Yeah, he doesn't like Spanish mole. Okay. He doesn't like kimchi. He doesn't like that, what'd you say it was? Honey.
Chinese mustard.
Chinese mustard. Asian.
Chinese
So
hot
I
mustard.
said it right. Mole. Spanish mole. I've heard about that stuff. But he sent me to the store to get more sriracha. And because he loves sriracha, but I can't find it anywhere right now. Anywhere. I've been to 7 different stores.
You have to go to a Mexican store.
A Mexican store
Yeah.
around here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. This is pretty much done, baby.
Danny's up here.
Hey,
Danny.
hey, sriracha is very famous in our family. We like the one with garlic. But usually nowadays you have to go to the Asian market. So you have to find one of your Asian markets like Uajamaya or one of the Asian stores. Sometimes you could find it at grocery outlet. Sometimes.
Yeah, they had the ketchup, and it's like ketcherachi or something like that. It's ketchup and sriracha mix.
Mm-hmm.
We got that for my friend's son, but I can't find sriracha even in the little bottles anywhere.
Yeah.
All right, you guys keep talking. We're
What kind of you want an Asian spicy dish? There's all kinds like like kung pao chicken and things like that. You can make
Bargain Market didn't have.
Yeah. You can make it at home. Usually I have to cook for everybody. So like when I'm cooking for my kids, like I always make the chili stuff, put it to the side because they like it fucking burning your mouth and scratches on the bathroom wall kind of fire spice. So
Yeah, he doesn't want something that's going to really blow his ass out.
right.
But he does want something that is hot.
Yeah.
But yet he can enjoy the flavor or even tell the flavor. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like to me, if you want spicy, you should allow yourself to put it in yourself. So because everybody has a different stomach intake, and if you've got gastro problems, you're probably not going to be satisfied with the chili that I serve. So
I sweat smelling certain people's like spices.
Yeah, because me, like I learned my spices and my herbs, so I know how to make them. and I know how to make them Guadalajaran style, Guatemalan style. I know how to make them Filipino style. I know how to make Chinese style. I know how to make all kinds of stuff. You know, I got tamales, a homemade pozole. You want to do
Yes.
green pozole that will fucking burn your asshole? You could do burn.
Solely.
You could do tamales. You can make them mild or very
Yep.
spicy. You know, you can make sweet tamales. You can do all kinds of things. You know.
I do enchiladas too.
I was a
do
vegan.
enchiladas too, but I'm gonna look up the recipe for the homemade sriracha. That
Yeah.
might be awesome.
You can do it. It's just a bunch of different chilies, and you fire them up on the grill with a little oil and salt, and then you put in, you know, how your consistency, how you want it. Do you want tomato paste? Do you want real tomatoes? Do you want a certain consistency? You know, you have to figure that out, and you have to figure if you want to use olive oil or coconut oil or an Asian toasted sesame oil, just all kinds of things, you know. And then you find out your Italian spices, and you can make different pestos and different like hummuses and things like that, and you get into the Mediterranean foods, you know. It's all beautiful. You know, my family, my dad, he was an eater, and my brothers and sisters were eaters. So, you know, when my dad ate, wherever we went, there was ethnicity and all kinds of varieties. I mean, my dad had peoples. My mom had peoples. You want Southern fried chicken? That will be something I will never accomplish in my life, but I can make Mexican fried chicken. You know,
I,
I can bake a chicken just fine, but to deep fry a chicken is just not something. I don't have that. That's not in me. But I love fried chicken. I'm going to tell you. My mom's really good at cooking fried chicken. My grandmas were, everybody. That's their legacy, and I honor that.
you really you could cook chicken. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I just did it by like so
I just really never liked chicken skin or the meat. It's okay, but still, when I look at any slab of meat, I'm like, thank you for your life. I don't know how you were treated, but I just wish you well, and I hope it nourishes my stomach and my family's.
right.
Right? And thank you. You know,
Yeah.
it's not even a thank you of amen, because I don't even know what that word, you know, actually does for certain people. So I don't really say it a lot.
All amen means is so be it.
You know, so I'm just like, yeah, thank you, and let's eat. Let's eat. And everybody go home safe if you can. And if you can't, you can, you know, if I have a place, you could crash there and have a place. But that's usually how it is in my family, you know.
If you need a bath tonight, you need to wipe you down.
But you know, it's all kinds of different things that you learn your spices, you learn your stomach, you learn your alchemical design of how you can transmute your food into a better way of thinking. And not just for your stomach, but for everybody that you serve.
And then I think a big part of it is the energy that you put into your food while you're making it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because you know, you could give anybody a fucking recipe.
I
They
mean,
could follow. They could
I'm
follow it to the T.
great on spices, but I mean, I've been feeding some people for a while, so
Right?
I've
You
got
learn
the
some things.
down. We've been
Right?
experimenting though. I'll tell you what. When I did that pepper up on the grill, and girl, you would have laughed your ass off on me when I was peeling it back because I have past experience. I know not to rub the ice. I had two sandwich bags as gloves, and it peeled it just fine. Was having
I,
that
le-
touch.
right. I left some Hispanic and Guatemalan men wondering where the fuck did I come from? Because nobody could cook like their mama.
Yeah,
And I'm like, well, I'm not your mama, but I cook like this because this is how my mamas who've taught me throughout my whole life. And not only that, you know, there was a few times that our cooks didn't show up in assisted living, So who had cooking skills? Well, Danny. So you have to learn how to do things, for people with consistency problems in their intake because they're aspirating or they got heart problems. So you can't put pepper in their food. You can't do this. They got allergies. And for a room of 20 or 50 people, that's a lot of knowing about people.
Yeah, because the bigger places just make it all bland and then give you your condiments on the side, correct?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to individually.
Right. And all anybody ever wants in that place is something that tastes like home.
Exactly. Or why else would we be trying to sneak food in?
Exactly. And these are the things. I've had people tell me recipes, and I'm like, well, you sound like you haven't had it in a while and you would like it. So I would go home and make it, and I'd sneak them some, and they'd be like, oh my God, I miss this. And I'm like, yeah, there's certain ways to break rules.
Look at your chicken, Joy. She is so jealous that you're interacting with the dog and not paying attention to
Breaking rules? Did somebody mention my name? Breaking rules?
Mhm.
it.
Once you've been named the black sheep of the family, you're always gonna be the black sheep of the family.
Done.
With fucking ram horns, okay?
All right, I'll get on it because I gotta make that gravy anyway. I don't know if you heard the good news, Danny.
What?
My rabbit have babies.
Your what? Your rabbits?
Rabbit, yeah.
Aw, how many?
I'm guessing at 5. I haven't really seen them.
Oh, that's awesome. What are they all different colors or what color?
They're under the fur. There's just a pop of fur wiggling.
Hmm. Oh, they probably don't have hair yet, do they?
She either had them last night or sometime this morning.
Oh, that's so awesome. I remember our dog giving birth to her six. She had 3 boy puppies and 3 girl puppies, and each of us kids got to nurse a puppy. We got to it was our puppy until we had to sell them. It was a sad thing because their mom had to go, and the last thing I know is she got bit by a black widow. Our dog, our family dog. At least that's what we were told. I don't know if that's true because my mom, she didn't like to hurt our feelings.
Yeah.
You know how parents are about edible
Zeus,
pets.
Zeus got bit by a black widow once, and I know it was because it was still on his snout
Aw.
when he got bit and whimpered. His
Mhm.
face. I took him to the vet right away with the spider,
Yeah.
and all she did was put this thing like not on the hole, but all around the swelling area. It was just like a paste,
Mhm.
and then she put chewing tobacco
Yeah.
on the opening, and as it dried, it pulled out the poison. And you can do that with wasps, hornets, bees, you name it.
Yeah. The natives say that if you drink your piss when you get bit by anything, you should drink your piss because it's a natural and I whatever towards the poison, and then you make sure you get that stuff sucked out, and that's where the cupping therapy came out. It was part of an ancient knowing that you suck the venom after something bites you out of you. You know, it's just it's simplicity at its finest. Because somebody took the time to learn the skill and share it with others. And yet this would be deemed illegal in a lot of places. I'm coming.
How do you steam stuff?
But it should be legal. Oh, fingers. We're making gravy out of the roasted chicken drippings.
You know, it's one thing to have knowledge, but if you can't share that where it benefits other people, then that's really sad. And this is why people have family memories and they write them down and they pass them on to the next generation. That's why I got into journalism of my own life. And I've made 4 poetry books, and I'd like to get some of them out there and written and put it. You know, if somebody wants to read it, they can read it. If it helps, it helps. I also one day would love to make a cooking book of our family's recipes because, good Lord, if somebody has to text me while I'm 80, I don't know if I'll be able to respond to that. You know? It's like, wait, let me go through my 20 millionth memory of that day. Let me get it out there for you, darling. No rush, we got till the end of my time. This is funny to me. Anyways, I love chatting with you guys. It's good to hear from you. You stay as lovely as you are, and don't let anybody push you the fuck around. But I gotta go.
You have a good evening.
All right, much love.
Much love. You still cooking, Larry?
No, we're eating now. I was going to tell her goodbye, but my hands were messy, so I couldn't click the mic.
I think she felt it universally.
Yeah, we're eating leftovers from yesterday, but of course, freshly made, freshly fried tortillas.
Oh, yummy.
I used to make them with corn,
Mm-hmm.
corn taco shells, or corn tortilla shells. But I found that, yes, I like it, but I've noticed that I like how the flour ones cook up. So I've started doing that instead.
Yeah.
That.
Wasn't quite ready to make my gravy.
So how long did Moose say it's been since he had any meat?
How long since what?
Nub say he had any meat.
I didn't get that, but I know I got the impression it'd been a while.
Well, I hope he takes it easy because once he reintroduces those proteins into his system, he may have a really long night ahead of him.
Well, he did say he would join us back up. He joined back up with us when he got done.
What?
He said he would come back and join us when he got done.
Okay. Yeah, your audio is kind of messing up.
I could have taken her some tomatoes and onions, but I ate all the ones that were chopped up anyway, so.
Don't be lucky.
What else? Nothing. You got it. All right. My turn. My turn to sit down and have some. Num num. You're breaking up really bad.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay.
All right. Sometimes these go away, sometimes they don't.
Why don't you just end the broadcast? Just
Hmm?
We'll have her today.
Hey, Sorry, we computer was messed up there for a second. Good to see you, We're back though. We got 5 sitting here. Good thing the stream didn't get X'd out.
Huh?
Yeah, PC problems.
We're hoping he'll get the other one up and running somehow.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Hello. Housekeeping. Hello, housekeeping.
What's it mean? What does it mean when there's a sock on the doorknob?
Don't disturb.
I always thought it was a scarf.
I thought it was somebody found my sock.
Ha! Yeah.
I wonder where the hell that thing went.
He says the wind is ripping, huh? Getting slammed by a storm.
Wow.
He says it depends. What color's the sock?
Ha! I'm going to stick with the scarf.
Sticking with the scarf.
You know, in that movie Dirty Dancing, they put a scarf over the doorknob outside.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, they had a lot of, definitely had more scarves than somebody wanting to pull off their shoe. Well, they weren't wearing shoes, right? It was the beach. Spring vacation, right?
Well, if they're
Something
giving
like
up
that.
their shoe, or their socks, yeah, they're not going to be wearing them anyway, you know.
Exactly. Oh, good. I'm glad you got enough wood.
Good. I hope the best for you, though. That's for sure.
He's in Maine.
Yep, you're in my prayers as well.
Yeah, you're getting that nor'easter. I lived in Virginia. We used to get those too. They could be wicked. But we didn't have wood. We didn't have alternative options.
You were looking at the furniture, huh?
Yeah.
I've been there.
Well, when Hurricane Isabel came through, we had just moved that May. Because I was married to the Navy, basically. We were just stationed in Norfolk, and we had just moved into our apartment and everything. And in September, we got hit with Isabel, and of course we ran, but we taped up the windows because we looked online and all that stuff and whatnot. You know, you crack the window open a little bit, and then you tape all the windows, crosswise, X's and yada 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 and everything. And everybody around us got nailed super, super hard. Norfolk was just absolutely destroyed.
Oh, my
And oh yeah, it was bad. And we left on a Wednesday, and we got a call from the manager saying that the roads were cleared enough for us to come back home. We had endless barbecues. Let me tell you.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh,
And
hello.
yeah, we had a lot of barbecue. And yeah, that took out, I would say, at a low count, maybe 200 to 300 trees that were 200 to 300 years old, on top of apartments we were on the bottom floor, but on top of one of the apartments just across from us in the same complex. And then the roof and everything got ripped off the entire complex of the first one. The other one, I mean, it just, and all we got was a cracked kitchen window. And that was it. That's all we got. We were very fortunate. Except they didn't drain the water from the basement, and we have 4 foot of water in there, and it stunk forever. And here comes winter. So guess what? The board spread. And one night I sat on the edge of my bed to take my slippers off to climb in. It went boink. And I went, what the hell? And I looked and the board was split like 4 inches. I'm like, oh man. We moved to a different complex. That was it. That was just ridiculous. Because they never did still come clean it or take care of it.
Whoa, okay.
Well, roasted chicken still tastes like roasted chicken.
Good.
No way.
Okay. How's your tummy feel?
So far, so good.
Yay.
Now,
The
the
real
thing
little
that was really entertaining, the most entertaining, is the dogs smelled it, but they couldn't quite figure it out because that faking chicken is pretty good. You know, it's close. Well, then I gave them each a little piece,
Uh-huh.
and their eyes were like, "Holy shit, we get to be carnivores!"
Oh, hells yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
it's not like I don't feed my dogs meat. I've always fed the
Right.
dogs meat and stuff, like obviously
Right.
the food and stuff like that.
Daddy's
Nevertheless,
food.
yes, it was my food that they were able to be carnivores with. They did not. They were tickled pink, especially the little one, the little Japanese chin. Holy shit, she was like, oh. That's chicken
Love it.
skin.
Oh, that's funny. Oh,
Yeah,
my goodness.
that was rather entertaining.
So
Yeah.
how long had it been since you had any meat?
I had some fish a while back.
Okay.
Really, honestly, it's not with the fish. It wasn't the eating it and everything like that. It wasn't how it made me feel. It was the dreams I had.
Ooh. Yep. I've heard that food can influence your dreams somewhat.
Well, like I said, if this is going to be a go, the moment we get some land, right now I've got some friends that have some land that will probably let me have some chickens on their land as long as I take care of them and, you know, do what I need to do.
Right.
Hang on one
just
second.
talking about that.
What?
Yeah, same thing. Except for we don't have a friend with land. That's the problem.
Yeah, the thing is like if I'm gonna do it, I think that I need to do it like the whole 9 yards.
Right.
If that makes sense, because then I know how that animal was treated its entire life. I know how it was dispatched. I know all of those parameters. You know, so I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that's definitely what I'm gonna do, but that's definitely where I'm leaning for.
Chicken's high protein.
Even if you just ate the eggs.
Right.
Well, I eat eggs. Like, I'm not vegan. Like, I eat cheese.
Oh,
and
I
stuff.
got you. You just watch what the hell you eat. That's all.
Isn't that pescatarian? Isn't that pescatarian, Nubs?
I don't know. I'm one of the Aryans.
I wish I had a comeback because you started up really good.
Said bananas before bed can encourage dreams.
That I knew.
Yeah. I try to have a banana every night because they say it also can help with sleep.
Yeah, the potassium in it.
Yeah. So I try.
That's what I was going to say, potassium for the muscles.
Here's an interesting fact. Do you know you know that tip of the banana that you always throw away?
The top tip or the bottom tip?
The black one, the bottom.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know that tends to contain more potassium than the entire banana?
Huh.
Yeah, it's the stem end.
No, I usually don't throw that stuff away because I give it to not the wolves, but all the I get that bread, cereal, whatever's left over. I give it to Jeff and Abby, the wolf parents, and they use it for goats, whatever. I don't know what she feeds it. Just all kinds of stuff. They save the coffee grounds and all that stuff for everything. Nothing usually makes it to the trash.
Yeah, once I have some land, that's really how it's going to be, without a doubt. It's important for me to give back. Like, whatever I take from the land.
Yeah. Well, one other thing that they do is the wolf mama, Mary, I think your thing's making noise. Anyway, the wolf mama, she volunteers at one of the local food banks, and that one, that particular food bank is more for your vegetarians and vegan. Okay. And they're not. Trust me, they're not. And she volunteers there to unload the trucks that come, and anything that nobody winds up wanting because of they're not perky and pretty or whatever, she gets it for free and she feeds it to her animals. Like the lettuce and tomatoes and all that shit. She gets all of that. So.
And the animals aren't too picky.
No, they're not.
Well, that's the thing. I can't get these two in. Those two in there pieces. I'll try that in later. I'll give it a whirl. Just give me fingers hurt.
That'll work for
now. Once we get land, I'm going to be really working towards a full-on sustainability, because I know how to revitalize the earth, and I also know how to test the earth. Like, I know how to do a lot of those things, and I also know how to build a lot of structures. And there's just, once I have the ability to have the say of whether or not I can build something, it changes.
It's on game.
Yeah, like, I've been working at it for literally, I started in aquaponics when I was in 9th grade.
Oh, nice.
That was when I first realized that is how I wanted to utilize my ability to be professional, I guess, would be the best way. That's really a very poor description.
How old are you again, Nubs?
I'm in my 40s.
Okay. Yeah.
Early 40s.
I'll be 50 in June, but I remember, around that time, Nubs, yeah, that's when you started thinking of how can I contribute?
Yeah. That's honestly when that's really what it boiled down to, because I was in school and we were able to go to the vocational technical school as high schoolers.
Yeah.
Which was a phenomenal experience. And honestly, I would advocate that any high school that does not have a VOTEC that they immediately get a VOTEC program with multiple different industries. The one that I went to, they had a forestry department. They had an agricultural department. So that's like all your horticulture, basically everything that's not trees. And they also had building trade maintenance. They taught kids how to maintain elevators and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's somebody stepping into $100,000 career.
Yeah.
You know, then they had computer science. What else? They had food management. They had cosmetology. I used their service quite often.
I took what did I take? I took at my VOTEC I took vehicle maintenance.
They had that.
Yep, and I took wood shop, and I took the other one was it was business operations system specialist, so anything computer whatever, and to do a business I could do it. And I did something else. It's blowing my mind right now, it's lost, but I did all of that and graduated from all of that and got my certificates. It was phlebotomy. I did all of that before I even graduated from high school.
I was
Isn't
the
that
youngest
amazing?
person in all of Pennsylvania to ever receive my private applicator's license for pesticides.
Haha, yeah.
And I'll tell
Nice.
you, I don't use them now for a specific reason, and I'm glad I learned it all those years back then. I won't touch those things. I won't touch them with somebody else's dick in a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, no shit.
Good.
But they didn't teach us that stuff where I lived. I lived in San Diego.
They taught me exactly what those chemicals can do. All
We
those
didn't even
MSDS, all those safety sheets that I had to read, they taught me exactly what that shit can do. And it taught me exactly what I never want to do in my life. Touch that shit.
Yeah. And that was the shit that was known at that time. You know, the stuff, there's even more things
It's
that
always-
we're hiding that have been unveiled.
Yeah, well, no, this is for your pesticides and stuff like that. Like, basically what I'm talking about is the safety data sheets. It shows you how to neutralize the chemicals. It shows you what the chemicals are, how they break down. Like, it shows you a bunch of different information. But it shows you all that in a manner that is educational. And if you don't look at it from a mental point of view, like, what am I going to be doing to the environment, then it's just information. But if you do look at it from that point of view, then you're like, why the fuck would I ever want to do this stuff anywhere near my body, much less on a customer's yard?
Or near a garden.
Or at
Right.
my house, or, you know, it's funny because until I lived in Oklahoma, and I continued on being a substitute teacher, even though I'm, you know, disabled and everything. I could still at least do that. And two of my favorite classes was wood shop, which they combined with mechanics. And then there was the kids for the FFA, the Future Farmers Association.
I was the chaplain.
Okay, let me tell you something. On my list for decades, on my bucket list, was to hug a cow. That's how city girl I was. I finally got it. But how silly is that? I actually didn't get to do that until I moved here to Oregon. And I think it was like 5 years ago. How sad is that? I have missed out on so much being just a city girl.
I would say you have not experienced it, not missed out.
Thank you.
You
You
only
did.
miss out if you choose not to
Leave me
do.
alone for me. Thank you, Nubs. Ah, says he's a June baby too. Another Gemini.
Gemini power.
Power of the twins. Let's go.
Gemini, unite!
June babies can be
out.
Cancer too.
Yes, but I'm definitely a Gemini.
Yeah,
Mary,
my son, my
probably
eldest, he's
something.
yeah, he's later June, the later part of June, so it makes him
Oh,
a
okay.
Cancer.
Yeah, I'm on the 16th. This year's
Uh-huh.
gonna be a biggie for me.
Yeah, the big 5-0. I'm gonna have to trade her in on a newer model.
Yeah, the big 5-0 coming up right quick. That's okay. I can handle it.
You can do
It's
it.
just another day. If you really
Welcome to
think
the
about it,
50 Club.
that's all that shit is just another fucking day.
I realized that when I turned 30.
Yep.
You know what I realized when I turned 50? Ain't nothing but a number, and definitely doesn't define how old I feel.
Alright, well, I like to get busy and jiggy with it and celebrate that I'm fucking still here. So I am all about celebration.
Yep.
There's nothing
Well,
wrong with
we should always celebrate life. Every day that we
Absolutely.
have. Every day. It
Absolutely.
shouldn't be just minimized to one day that we.
Yep.
You get what I'm like? If we're going to party, we should party every day.
Yep.
I completely agree.
Be grateful.
Just like Thanksgiving, we should always be thankful.
Actually, I was really struck by what someone said to me. This person had a PhD and worked with women and children in that state. And we were having fun with friends of ours doing like quadding on the weekend and stuff. Not like getting drunk or, stupid.
Have a little
But
socializing. Yeah.
right. And she's like, yeah, that's good sometimes, but it's not good all the time. And it really struck me like, but why not? What is it about life that makes it a down thing and not an up thing?
Well, I mean, even if you bring it to a scriptural position, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Who's the Lord? If you read scripture in Psalms, it says, "Are ye not but gods?"
Uh-huh.
And if we are not Lord of our own life, isn't somebody else not Lord of our lives?
Well, if you don't do it, they will, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and if you,
There's a whole
I don't
bunch of them in
know.
line.
I've been doing a bunch of research on the whole Christianity and Jesus, and don't get me wrong, like I'm still definitely all about some God or
Right.
the creator. But the concept of the Christed being, if it weren't for Tiberius, I might believe it.
Can I indulge a little bit with that with you, Nubs?
We're on an open platform. You aren't going to piss me
Okay.
off by your opinion.
No, not
I might tell
opinion.
you
I
you're
just want to
retarded.
indulge. I just want to explore a little bit of an area because I came out of my childhood with a faith that didn't know a church, that didn't know a Bible, and didn't know the people involved in all of it. So when I came out of that, I started exploring what people were saying were supposed to be places of worship, so religions. And through my exploration, and mainly on the Christian side, was that I couldn't have a proper faith without having Jesus involved. And I kept having some really significant confusion because in my own mind, maybe it was immature or naive, but in my own mind, I'm thinking that person or that name or the entity that they're all trying to talk about, Jesus, was not present like within my mind between me and my creator. So I had difficulties with even accepting putting someone in between me and my creator because that's how I perceived it. And I want to indulge in everyone else's opinion about that because I still do struggle with that and knowing that these religions have been manipulated to cause control now throws a different wrench into the machine that I'm talking about. So, it's
Mary,
just maybe one at a time. Go ahead.
do you know who Tiberius was?
I've heard the name, but I really don't know for sure.
The Roman Emperor Tiberius.
Okay.
Okay. Before he was emperor, he was the son of the emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something a lot of people don't know about Roman emperors is they considered themselves likened to God.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would the Son of God be but the Son of God? Do you see where I'm making that connection?
Yes, and that's kind of the connection I kind of got as I did read the Bible through the kings and the
Well,
narrative
see,
of the Bible, but it was more like you have a grain of salt of God within you, or a grain of sand. Sorry, a grain of sand of God within you.
in essence, the breath of life, an essence
Yes,
of the
yes,
Creator.
right,
That's why we are given the Word. Literally, with the words that we speak, we create the reality in which we live. Just as the words that He spoke brought about the reality. We are not
hmm,
the God, we are part of God.
right,
Yeah, like, does that make sense? Like, I don't think I'm all powerful, and I don't think I can move
right,
mountains
right,
based off of my thought. I'm not
right,
naive. However, I do know that I can move mountains based off of my thought, and the mountains are the mountains that I create for myself to move.
right, right,
Does that
right,
make
right.
sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So,
it's the challenges that we face. And back to the Tiberius thing, Tiberius had a message, or excuse me, a ministry. And his ministry was for the Jews,
mhm.
which seems all well and good. It seems innocent. However, the word ministry back then was a military issue. So he had a military strike against the Jews.
Mhm.
And if you look at the ministry of Tiberius and the ministry of the Christed being, you will see correlations that are uncanny, like the blind men that are able to see and the lame men that are able to walk, and the stones crying out. For if the people would just be quiet, the stones would cry out. That was literally a Roman siege tactic. Like, literally, you could not insult somebody more than saying something like that. Not only that, but it has been recorded that the Romans, the reason that they brought about Christianity, Roman Catholicism, is because they could not defeat the Hebrews without removing their laws, their statutes, and their commandments.
Mhm.
They were unbeatable. So they brought
Mhm.
Hellenism in, and they did the same thing that they're doing now with changing the words and changing this and changing that, just tweaking it a little bit. Well, a little bit of tweaking over 2,000 years or 1,000 years, whatever it
Mhm.
might be, that's a lot of fucking tweaking.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of confusion
Yeah.
caused. And that's where I kind of get really caught up because I'm not going to make a decision to put someone between me and God until I feel firm in that decision. And the only thing that has been proven to me is that if we're all thinking alike, then Jesus is our brethren, our brother.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so I'm not wrong, really. Like in general, I'm saying, in general speak, I'm not wrong for getting that initial feeling, because here, religion will browbeat the shit out of you for
Mm-hmm.
not believing what they want you to believe. But all I kept thinking is, wait a minute, I had this relationship with God for 14 years. And I don't know how to work in someone in between. That's like saying, hey, you have to work in someone between you and your husband. Uh,
Right.
uh,
You have to
um,
create polygamy.
exactly. And I
That's
could
what it
not wrap
is.
my head around that.
It's just like when you go down to the state and you get a license to get married, you're creating polygamy. I think we should be ready for Jesus coming out in a big way. I
And
can definitely appreciate what you're saying. And it's not that I don't, it's that I
as for
have
in the
big
narrative,
questions. Yeah, I
right.
have questions in the narrative.
Yes.
I don't have
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
that there is a creator. I don't have questions that he's the father of Jacob, or excuse me, that he's the creator of Jacob and Abraham and
Mhm.
Isaac. Those stories I'm firm in.
Right.
And
Right.
the
Right.
reason, but I'm not firm in where they took place because the geography doesn't match the book.
Right. I think that's what starts cluing all of us into, wait a second. Didn't you
And the
say
reason that I
here somewhere else that this was that and that was this, and now all of a sudden things are getting changed that you can't
well,
pinpoint anymore?
in my opinion, and this is based off of opinion and a whole hell of a lot of research. It's not just me flippantly speaking. In
Hmm.
my understanding, the Americas are the old world.
And I've
That's
heard that
why you
several
have the
times. Yes.
Moab desert. It was the people of Moab. It's the Moabites, or
Hmm.
the Utah. Why is it called Utah? Judah.
Hmm.
And then if you look at
Okay.
Puma Punka, that is the cherry on the frickin'. If you look at the
On the
description
ice.
of the city of David, and you look at the fucking geography of the city, of the
Hmm.
ancient
Mm-hmm.
city,
Yep.
they're
Yep.
identical, but it does not match the city over in Palestine.
Right, 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 right,
Yeah,
right.
things don't
And
match
there
up.
are
And it
not three
explains,
walls.
actually, it explains certain things. So if you have followed Bob Marley at all, he
Mm-hmm.
goes into the Rastafarian culture and how Haile Selassie has traced his genealogy back to David, which is why they follow Haile Selassie. But then I was like, wait a second. Wait a
But who is
minute, there's a
David?
geography issue here,
Who is
right?
David? That's the question. Because David, King David, would be the Khan. Khan. Wait, Khan? Genghis Khan? Wait, does that bring in part of it? Maybe he was part of the greater Indias? Because you had northern India, southern India, and the other India. And they were all connected at one point in time in some form or another. I don't know. I wasn't there. But
What?
if you look at the buildings from the ancient times, they're all the fucking same.
Isn't that weird? That has been really striking me the last few days, because not just from past times, but modern times, how it seems like this thing is put out there, right? And then somehow it finds its way all the way around the world, even to these far reaching places. Like I was watching, and there's that typhoon Freddy or something over that's going into, it went into Mozambique and then went in further inland, and they were showing pictures of buildings, and all my brain said was, wait a minute,
Those
This is
don't
a
look
different
right.
culture. This
Those
should not
buildings
look
aren't
like.
right.
Yeah, they should not look like an American brick made building. What the hell is going on here? Where is this thing that is called culture? Because it seems to they're trying to all like make this big culture soup, and everybody's eventually going to be the same, saying the same, thinking the same, doing the same, and dressing the same, and it
What did they
just it
call
does
culture
not
before
feel
they
right.
called it culture?
I don't know. Clue me in.
Family.
But I don't think that's what their intent is. So that causes
Mm-mm.
even more confusion.
Listen. Think about it. The family grew. It created a town. A town created a city. The city spread. The city created a town, created a city, and spread.
But
The
what's the
cult.
end game? Like it doesn't. The end game
Hang
is
on.
okay. Okay.
Cult of our forefathers.
Say that again. You bored out a
Culture.
little bit.
The word culture has the word cult in it.
Yes.
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 So if we drink the Kool-Aid, then we are repeating the mistakes of our forefathers by drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
But if we
Yes.
study to prove ourselves worthy, now that changes everything. Because if we study, we can study and we can see that, well, looking at a modern map of Paris, France, you would say, there's nothing awry. But when you look at old maps,
Yep.
you see differences.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Notice the differences.
See, I just believe in don't lie, cheat, or steal, and that'll cover the 10 Commandments.
The 10 Commandments are not 10 Commandments. There's only 9 Commandments. One of them repeats itself.
Yes, it does.
And why would they want it 10 instead of 9?
Because they want even numbers and not odd.
They don't want that right frequency out there.
I'm sorry, what?
Right.
They don't
It's
want
about
the right
frequency.
frequency out
I
there,
got
so
you.
they
Yeah.
have to put it in certain numbers to be just slightly off.
What number does your earlobe
Huh.
make?
A 9. Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't your creator speak to you in a manner that you can hear?
Yes. And that's what I think is really befuddling, because people do not break it down to what we're talking about.
There are a lot of people that are breaking it down more and more. And honestly, if you look at some of the researchers, there's so many good researchers. The issue that I end up having is my skin color is white, and inherently there's hatred that is rightfully there. There's hatred, but there's also hatred that's not rightfully there, because my people came over as indentured servants and did not look like me.
Right.
This is from time and breeding, and I can't help what my forefathers have done, just as nobody else can. What I can do is I can help today, and I can help determine that America is the old world and that we have been lied to. Now, what do we do with that? Go somewhere with it. Do something about it.
Right.
Change the narrative. Change it back to what it should be. Because if America is the old world, that means the Americas are Atlantis.
Yep.
Turtle Island. The turtle sank. That means that Florida is looking really, really fucking plausible. Not only that, but do you know the wood that the ark was built with? It was a specific type of
Oh
wood.
yeah,
It was
what
called
the heck?
gopher wood.
Gopher wood. Yes.
Yep. Do you know where it grows?
I thought it was like swampy kind of.
It grows in Florida.
Well, in that like swampy, moist.
It's a pine.
Oh, it's a pine, really?
It's in the conifers. Yeah.
Now that I didn't know.
Yep. Now, why would it grow in Florida and nowhere really else? It also grows over in somewhere over in Southeast Asia, if I remember correctly. The thing about it is if you just open your eyes and see, I mean, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to see that the description of one thing is not the same thing as it is. And they'd say, oh, well, time doesn't erase all record. You would still see it in.
Yes, but it's like this example. The definition for pagan at the time of its usage by the Catholic Church was country folk. And now they've manipulated through the centuries so that if you say pagan now in the streets, people automatically think witch.
Well, what about the word Hebrew? There's a word for you.
Dude, I asked my husband just a few weeks ago, like, I'm confused on this one matter. Like, when did like the story of like the Israelites change to be like Hebrew people and now they're Jews? And I'm a little confused.
Nope. They are not the same people. Not the same people at all.
I hear Hebrew and I think Jewish.
Wrong.
No.
You are clearly, definitively wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so tell me what you know with the differences in the three ones I mentioned: Israelite, Hebrew, and Jew.
Okay. Israelite would be a child of Israel or of the house of Israel.
Okay.
Israel's name can be broken down into three parts. It would be Isis Ra'el. Okay, so that would be Israel. Isis, Ra, and El. El as in El Elyon, El as in the Hebrew word for God. In the beginning, the El got together and they said, "Let us make man in our own image." So the term Jew is a prominently Germanic origin, or those country folk. They were brought into the religion in, I think it was like want to say the 12th or 10th century, something. It was very, very way the fuck back there. But basically they were descendants of Ashkenaz. And that's where the Nazis, Ashkenazi, that's where that all comes from, because the Nazis were not anti-Jewish, etc. If you look at the etymologies of the words, it was all kinds of fucked up. And honestly, the majority of the people that were killed during the Holocaust were actually gypsies, not Jews. And their place of origin is rather interesting as well, because, well, there's a whole record on that as well. Nevertheless, that's where the son of Ashkenaz created the Ashkenazi Jews, and they were converts. Now, the word Hebrew or Heber is the people of the feather. Now, this is my understanding of it, and is still to be, it's in the realm of non-fact, in the sense of I can't personally prove it. I don't have a receipt to say this is 100% irrefutable fact. This is, in my understanding, 100% irrefutable fact, but not for, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
But
understand what you're saying.
basically, those that were from over there effectively it's a really weird grouping of translations. It goes back to the ancient Phoenician and Paleo Hebrew. Phoenicians were prominently, or they were known in the Bible as the seafaring people, and they built giant fucking canoes and crossed that gap of water. They were from here. That this is where high culture started. Egypt got their high culture from the Americas. India's from the Americas. Europe from the Americas. It was all from the Americas that civilization bloomed. It was not out of Africa. That is complete hogwash. And scientifically, that can be proven that the oldest human bodies that have ever been found are right here in the Americas.
That changed the whole damn narrative. That literally changes the whole damn narrative.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does, because now the word Nile, well, that's a Greek word. Well, what's Greek? Well, could the Greek be the Cree? Greek. Or why, when the European settlers came to the Carolinas to meet the Cherokee, why did the Cherokee introduce themselves as the Roman Cherokee? Interesting. Why would they have antebellum mansions of Roman style
Yes. I question that
already
part
in
myself.
existence with slaves ready to go? Why did they take the slaves with them on the Trail of Tears? It's all part of the contracts. And we don't understand how history actually happened. There is actually more history between the signing of the Constitution and the quote unquote discovery of the Americas. There's more that happened between that time and from the Constitution to this point in time right now. You think about that, like a lot more time.
Yeah.
You know, and if you look at these federations, like for instance, the Northern Federations of the Muskogee, that's where we got our Constitution. Hang on one second.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
It's my microphone.
What happened to it?
I don't know.
I'm assuming it doesn't work. Hang on one second.
It started sprinkling here.
How's the temperature, Linda?
It's still warm. It's just sprinkling.
How's the little mama?
She seems to be fine. I just finished covering her up.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it.
All right, I'm back. No, it's just it changes the whole fucking narrative.
Yeah, and the worst part for me about that is that digging and researching may not give us what we're looking for.
Yeah, Will. It's all there. You just got to find you got to never throw the baby out with the bathwater, for one, because for instance, like when they say in history books, when they say what is it? I want to say the Nigerians. Niger? No, that's not right. I don't want to give misinformation. I want to make sure I'm accurate with my information. No, but if you go back into the languages, you'll find all sorts of fucked up things, like where they blatantly, literally, well, take out a $1 bill out of your billfold and tell me if that guy on there is not a white man. Because the contemporaries, so in other words, his friends, did not describe Martha and George as being white. They described them as being swarty. Look that word up and tell me it means white. You'd be a fucking damn fool. Because it doesn't.
What does it mean?
It means dark-skinned. It means brunette. It means their skin looked like my beard.
It means they weren't blonde and blue-eyed.
Exactly what it means. Washetan. The Washita people. Washetan. Changes everything. Changes the whole fucking
It
narrative.
just makes the manipulation that much more bigger, because we're not just talking about, okay, you know, do you ever play the telephone game with people where you were told one thing and then you got to pass?
Here's what it does. Here's what it does. It brings classism out of it and brings racism into it. Kind of like if we read the whole fucking title for Darwin's book, we would all realize that he was a racist bigot out of the fucking gate. Like literally out of not even opening the book. You can judge that book by its cover because it talks of racism right on the cover, but we don't. Why?
Well,
Because it
the
brings...
conditioning we're all born with, first of all, keeps people from asking questions. And then if you ask the question, then it's social admonishment. And then if you can get past that and do investigation, now you're not doing research for a couple hours or a couple
No.
days or a
You're
couple months.
years.
This
Years.
is the actual yes, and you may not even be at the quote unquote end when you can no longer do it, because
Well, here's
where I
the
was
thing.
going was,
Check this out. I don't mean to cut you off because I agree with what you're saying.
Right.
But think about this. What is racism?
The decision that people that don't look like you, blah 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 blah.
Nope. It's
Okay.
a taught behavior. It is always a taught behavior.
Well,
There
I
is
do
fear.
know that. Yes.
There is fear, but fear is not always a taught behavior. Fear can be a natural thing. To be scared of something that you don't know is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on one second. So I would suggest
Today
you be...
I made enough money that I would be able to buy those.
Absolutely. And I would suggest if you would be wise with your money while you still have the opportunity to be a child with your money until you turn 13, I think that if you wanted to be smart, you could get what you want because you have the ability to work for it. Right? All right. Load out. All right, my apologies.
No, that's okay.
So basically the whole system, I forgot where I was.
Racism.
With racism. Racism is a
Yes.
taught behavior.
Yes.
It is
I agree.
always a taught behavior. So that
Yeah.
means somebody had to come up with the idea of it.
Yes, I agree. Yes, wholeheartedly.
And back in the day, it was not about a skin color. King James, for instance. Do you know what King James's son was nicknamed?
I don't remember.
Little Black Boy. Why would they name a white guy Little Black Boy? That doesn't make very much sense now, does it?
Especially doesn't make very much sense when you consider the time in which he lived.
Exactly. Because most of the European monarchy were actually dark-skinned. But they don't tell us that. White people, honestly, we're pretty new on the fucking charts.
You know what? I'm glad you went there, Nubs, because as you know, I'm half white, and I've tried to do my own, like, indigenous from the white side kind of research. And
It brings you
I
back
got,
very quickly. It brings you right back.
I mean, there's nowhere to go. You almost like you go deep, but then you kind of find yourself in a dark room because you're not sure where to go from there. Whereas in other cultures, you're led by the archaeology through time as to where they had moved, where they had, like with gypsies that move around, you know what I'm saying?
You
Persistent
can't
or
follow gypsy lines, not by map. Gypsy lines, you have to get into the gypsy culture and find those
But there's a
bloodlines.
way. What I'm saying is there is a way. Whereas in my white culture on my maternal side, there wasn't a way. Like at one point, there was a dead stop to the line. And there was no way to follow it back, like into the European nations to find out exactly where that was. I
So there
couldn't
was
do
most
that.
likely an indentured servitude that came over.
I'm not sure because they started in Virginia, which didn't make sense. A lot of the indentured servitude.
Look at the history of
Did it start in Virginia before New York?
The Virginia Company was, think about this. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue and he came over and he discovered, right?
Yeah.
What did
So
he
they say.
discover? He discovered the Americas, right?
Okay.
Supposedly.
Yep.
How did he figure out that he could get here?
And how the hell did he get home?
Well, you follow the same maps that you'd use to get here.
Yeah, but if you're lost,
No,
and
you weren't
quote unquote,
lost. No. This man was never fucking lost.
well, no, I'm going by the narrative. I'm not going by my belief.
No. Fuck the narrative. I've read his handwriting, his account. He was never fucking lost. Okay, so let's go back in history. 1492, beginning of the year, the Moorish Empire fell out of rule of Spain and most of Europe.
Say what?
1492, the Spanish Empire comes into power. Meanwhile, the Inquisition is going rampant through fucking Europe, killing everybody that is Jewish, Hebrew, Moorish, and Muslim. Because all of these things were kind of known as the same thing, kind of.
Right. Like being in a city and being from different neighborhoods.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, where did they all go? They went home. They were the Moristos, the conquistadors. They were all those because they were now pig eaters. They changed their religions. And then they became crypto Jews and crypto Muslims, and they just came back to the promised land. Where's the promised land? Well, it was where Christopher Columbus was going to conquer Mount Zion, and the people of Prester John or King David. You just got to know your fucking history. If you don't know your history, you'll never figure this shit out. But when you read his handwriting, of his day-to-day diary, it kind of gives you a perspective of him, not the narrative, because the narrative is dead fucking wrong.
But see, that's where the confusion comes in, because as you come close to making that decision, like even personally, it gets more difficult. Like the details of it, you could read his diary and all that, but the other details outside of his diary is where the fudging begins. So
That's where
you're
you
not
look at
quite
other
sure where
firsthand
the bridge is.
accounts.
What's that?
That's when you look into other firsthand accounts. Because if it's not a firsthand account, there's somebody's narrative involved.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
even if it's not for any malice or not for any intent of harm, if I tell you a story and you retell that story, well, guess what? That story's changed.
Yes. And you become a secondhand witness instead of a first.
Which means nothing.
Right. That won't even hold up in this quote unquote court of law.
It's hearsay. It's all fucking hearsay.
Yes.
You ain't shit if you only have hearsay. You know, and that's why, that's one of the major things that I found with Christianity is there's not references that are firsthand accounts.
Right. There's no way to confirm it. It's all hearsay.
Well, most of it was written by Josephus, who was a Pisos. And if you look up the Pisos, they were not Jew or they were not they were not good people. They were very bad people, in fact. You know, and not only that, but if you think about it, who's getting this information out? The aristocrats of the time had control of the fucking narrative. They might have had this book hidden away and that book hidden away. Sure. But they're all coming out the same shit.
Yes. And they want these aristocrats. Remember, these aristocrats always had longevity in their plan. So in their mind, they didn't want to have to keep finding their workers, their servants. They wanted that system to be a self-perpetuating system. So the son of the servant, when he grows up, becomes the servant, and the son of
the son of the ruler becomes the ruler.
Yes, all self-perpetuating systems to keep this ugly system going.
Yes, and if you don't think we live on a proverbial, I'll say that, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, proverbial plantation, can you tell me why money is made out of cotton?
Oh, shit.
Never thought about that, did you?
That's why you can wash it.
And that's why you can go out and
every
pick it.
single person who has a job across the world a cotton picker.
Absolutely.
But
because
the
we're
thing
all.
is, here's the thing. They've put so much quote unquote physical evidence out there to prove their narrative that for those who don't want to be awake, they literally don't have to be until some cataclysm happens, and then their problems literally do become our problems because we're loving creatures, and that is a bullseye.
You
And
mean
believe me,
like a situation where they dump a bunch of chemicals into a fucking city because that city happens to have a mineral that they want that they can't take?
Mm-hmm.
You mean it becomes all of our problems when that chemical hits the Ohio River that leads to
The what?
The Ohio River leads to, I think that's the Mississippi, and then the Gulf of Mexico, and then the fucking ocean. Well, shit, wouldn't that affect everybody?
Look at the red tide that's happening down there right frickin' now. And they're not, that red tide ain't gonna go away because what's going down the pike right now? Chemicals. What happens naturally with organisms? They go away from the poison, right? Away from it. So they're literally like lighting a fire under the ass of the red tide to now bloom outwardly. Which does what? It kills the
Red
fish.
tide in
It kills
front, fish behind, chemicals behind them, and then, well, fish have to swim somewhere.
and then you have a nation split because what's on the east side of the Mississippi? All 13 colonies. And believe me, I wouldn't believe this if I didn't live it, Nubs. But in essence, the frame of mind over there is very much like this conquering, this you better do as you're told and not as you see. Like I
Homestead,
literally had to be like,
you
good.
remember I did quite a bit of growing up in Western Pennsylvania. I know
Dude,
exactly what the fuck you're talking about.
and when you wake up to that and you're not of that mindset, you're literally like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
I
I've
moved to that.
Dude, I went from New York. Okay, listen, if I did just a little history of mine, I went from New York to Pennsylvania to New Jersey to New York to and then down to Virginia, and I was like, oh, for the love of no, I gotta go. And then when I could go, I didn't even get out of the damn time zone. I was in Michigan. I was still on East Coast time zone, and I still had the feeling like I'm not far away enough yet.
Michigan has a weird feel about it too because it's so city and then rural.
And the attitude, Nubs. I happen to be in a county where the
It's not
mass
Michigan nice. Definitely not Michigan nice.
dude, if you don't sweep your shit under the carpet, they're gonna tell you to sweep your shit under the carpet because they don't want to see it. They don't want to hear about you dealing with it. They don't want to know their shit. You know, I told my husband I'm gonna go crazy if I don't get out of Michigan. Like I can't handle people complaining about shit and then acting like they don't see it and then doing nothing about it. And the next morning they wake up and they complain about shit. They act like they don't see it. They do nothing about it. And it's a sick cycle I can't take.
Prima facie evidence of that sixth cycle is the fact that they still have the fucking Barney Fife merry-go-round shit on top of their cruisers.
Yes, they do.
They look like fucking morons out there, and I love it. I laughed my ass off every time. I'm like, oh, there goes the clowns.
Dude, this is how ignorant it was to live there. You have a state that is surrounded on all its west, north, and east sides with water, right? And yet, in the state of Michigan, when you buy a house, the law in the county I lived in was you had to tell them if there was a well and you had to tell them if it had water. And that was the end of the story. And I was like, please don't tell me I'm in the 20th century and that we're
They're in
surrounded
a
by
time warp.
water. Well,
Michigan is in a time warp.
dude, the logic though, the logic, you're surrounded by water
There
and
is no
you
logic.
don't care if a well that is tapped into the water system is poisonous or not.
It doesn't matter. Think about it. If they measured your poison, they'd have to measure Flint's.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about a freaking state surrounded by water with seemingly no water standards. No water
Yeah.
standards. How is that freaking possible? So I'm like, I'm telling, and my husband didn't like Michigan any more than I did. But at a point, I was like, I'm getting to the top of the toleration level. Like, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to snap on one of these idiots because, yeah, they may not know what they do, but it's still pissing me off. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
still getting on my nerves, and I got to get out.
Hey, I gotta
Nothing.
run.
It's great
My-
talking to you again, Nubs.
Yep.
It's
was a
Linda's
pleasure.
and Larry's turn now.
Have a good
Check
one.
out
It's been awesome.
check
Been
out
awesome
Curry
listening
Mayo
to you.
on YouTube.
Okay.
He's got a lot of good fucking information.
Cool.
All right, I'll catch you guys. Peace.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good night. That was interesting.
That was interesting, and I think a type of conversation that needs to keep happening because of the
You know what?
narrative.
You know the out of all of that, what he said, but the wow moment for me was the Washington thing, and how he said his name and stuff. It just like the light bulb lit up.
Yes, it did for me too, because I mean, the narrative is strong. We all know how strong it is. It's been alive for centuries.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're gonna go walk the dog, so I think we're gonna probably go ahead and end here. We've been here for I don't know 2.5 hours already.
Sounds
You guys,
good.
Cool.
thanks for joining us, and it's been a
Hey,
wonderful, great
enjoyed
discussion.
myself.
Don't forget
Yes, thank you.
to give a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, and share.
Nice.
All right.
Will do.
Nice.
You guys have enjoy your evening.
Good night, y'all.
Night.